Hey guys, it's Frenchie Powell with Permaculture Northeast. Really excited to bring you guys a new video today as to why I no longer compost. Now, this is kind of an extreme for me because I've been composting for a long time. Ever since, growing up, we'd always collect, as a family, we would collect our kitchen scraps. And then when I even went off to college, I worked all 4 years in the composting, for the Office of Sustainability there. And even afterwards, I really kind of started permaculture here at the farm we're at now, at Permaculture Northeast, and we still composted. And we've tried all sorts of things. And let me be really real with you guys. Composting sucks. Compost, don't get me wrong, compost is great. But composting can be miserable. And what can be even more miserable is the way you're composting. Because so often, and this is the way I was for a long time, we're taught to compost in ways that are contrary to how creation goes, how nature is designed. Because, like in college, for example, okay? We would go all around campus, collect these 5-gallon buckets of compost waste, truck it to the site on campus far away from everything else because it smelled a little bit. And we had these 3-wall bins, and we would dump all of our compost in there. And then we would have volunteers and us get pitchforks, and we would turn it by hand, and it was backbreaking labor, and then it still smelled. And so, they teach us add red worms, add black soldier fly larvae, add all this stuff. And it still, you would think it would make more sense. You would think that it should be simpler, that there should be a simpler way. And guys, there is. Now, when I first started, learning about permaculture and everything, I came across a whole variety of ways to compost. First there was pit composting. You dig a hole in the ground and you shove all your waste in there, and you have more surface area. Theoretically, more microbes and worms can get to it, and then it leaches nutrients into the surrounding, ground, and you can plant trees around it, and they will feed off of that nutrients. And so that's great, but they tell you, even in pit composting, that it's a slower decomposition process. Okay? Well, what's another way? The basic bare bones compost pile. Okay, you don't have a bin, you just throw everything in a pile, you turn it. Okay, you get a pitchfork, you get a shovel, whatever you have, and you turn this compost, and then you do that, and you realize it starts to stink. And so you research it more, and you find out, oh, I need this much carbon, this much nitrogen, this much ash, this much manure. And you're like, gosh, I have kitchen scraps. I don't have much of any of that. And so how do we compost in a sustainable way that actually works and that is very minimal maintenance? In fact, it's almost zero work entailed. And that's when to get to the point, that's where I came across the almost no composting way that I do it today. And it came about it almost by accident when one day I realized, gosh, I have no more compost piles. And the way that we started doing that kind of started with our Ruth Stout bed back here behind me. And then we've got our food forest, kind of burgeoning food forest back there. And what it was is we started these deep mulch systems. So come with me for a little bit. We'll step over the fence here into our food forest. And here we've got some wood chips, we've got hay. We've got a bunch of organic material of a wide range of resources. I throw sticks in here. I throw weeds in here. Anything that is biological, as Jeff Lawton says, if it has lived, it can live again. So, we got a little, you can barely see it with the shadow, but there's a heat island that we just constructed today. But anyway, let's get to the point. Garden, mulch. This is why I don't compost anymore. And the reason is, say I've got my kitchen scraps here. Here, playing in the background. So in here, let's see what I've got here. A pear core, tea bag, some cabbage, leftovers from some garlic that I planted, a bunch of stuff that you might have in your kitchen. Well, if you have a garden, you don't need to compost. That's the basis of this video. If you have a garden, you don't need to compost. The reason is, if you're doing your garden right, I believe your garden should be covered in mulch. I was thinking about this earlier today. I find it so surprising that people mulch their flower beds so that they get prettier flowers, but then they'll go right into their backyard and rototill their garden. You would think somewhere they would think, why don't we just I don't know. But anyway, if you have a garden and you're doing it right, you should have a mulch layer of organic material of your choice. I like hay because we have hay in abundance. Wood chips are great. They take time to break down, but they're great once they do. A mix of everything works. But anyway, enough of that. Kitchen scraps. Here's what you do. Here's how I don't compost but decompose things. You got your hay. You move it back. Dump all your kitchen scraps. Shove it under there. And cover it back up. Boom! Done! That easy, guys. I mean, think about it for a second. Look out in the woods. Look out in nature. What does it do? It doesn't make piles of refuse in the woods. You don't see piles of waste just lying about. The only time we do that is when we try to, manufacture our own composting system, which we can speed up the process if you, get into the science and you have the equipment and you do it right. But why not easy enough. Here I have some pokeberry that I cut down. Chop and drop. Boom. The easiest composting. That's nature's compost right there. Now, if I did that with the kitchen scraps, I'd have people coming by and they're like, gosh, Frenchie, all your kitchen scraps are just lying around. Nobody wants to see that. And so bury it in mulch. The worms, the millipedes, the wood lice, all of your microorganisms are going to come up and eat that compost. Up by our house, I did this for a little while. I took a full, let me see if I can find it. I think I tossed it in here, maybe not. I'm not seeing it. I had a citrus peel somewhere. People say don't compost citrus. Tell nature that. Toss it in. I took a full pineapple rind. Full on, all the way around, pineapple husk, rind, whatever it's called. Put it under some deep mulch that I had for a little while there. So all the organisms were already there chowing down, having, that's their buffet area. Within 2 weeks, there was nothing left. I had gotten rid of a full acidic pineapple rind in 2 weeks. That's incredible. And so do it the easy way. Do it the low maintenance way. If you have mulch, put it under the mulch. Or put it on top of the mulch and keep layering it up. That works too. I'll do that with sticks. That way I know where they are. I'll put leaves on top. Take a look around here. I've got all sorts of stuff just laying on top of our mulch here. Kitchen scraps I put underneath. Anything with a high moisture content I put underneath, just because it's great to have that moisture stay in the mulch to help things break down. But anyhow, that's all for today's video, guys. Thanks for checking us out. Wanted to quickly show you how to compost without practically any work at all. So there you have it. Thanks for checking out Permaculture Northeast, our videos. Thank you to all of our subscribers out there. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button, hit the like button, a thumbs up, check us out, and we'll have more videos coming your way. Catch you guys.